Welcome, everyone. I am Dr. Dream, and you are here for the It's All Good show. My guest today, wow, not even quite sure where to start on this one. Um, my guest today is Inanna Rae, and she is going to let her kind of tell you a little bit about her story because the person that I'm interviewing today is absolutely not the person that I met many years ago. And so, Inanna, welcome to the It's All Good show.
Thank you.
This is, I feel like we've just stepped on Mr. Toad's wild ride. And
Let's go.
yeah, let's go. So, I met you some years back,
You met us.
and you you played you have at times in my life played a very important role. I have turned to you for advice, for direction, but but that wasn't you. Tell us,
It was a
kind of.
fractal. I mean, it was a fractal.
All right,
Um,
well, tell us, kind of give us something to go on here because I feel like if I keep going, I'm just on a slippery
okay.
slope and I may
Okay.
not be able to climb back out of it.
Well, my name is Inanna, and I am a multidimensional walk-in. And I finished my integration as that walk-in and became fully aware on April 19th of this year. And it was a jolting experience. But since that day, I have been hyper aware and hyper focused of my directive and what I'm supposed to be doing. And I have just been full steam ahead since that moment. Um, Within the vessel or the avatar I occupy, of course, there is cellular memory. So I do have some memories. And also, in order to be a walk-in in this capacity, that means that the previous person, and her name was Leslie, that occupied this vessel, right? There was always a fractal of me within her. Because as a multidimensional being, I will have fractals in multiple people. It's just like, well, all lifetimes are now, right? So your past, your present, your future, all your lifetimes are now. It's the same concept. It's just we have fractals within, so that if in the event that something were to have happened and I could not have facilitated a walk-in here now in this lifetime in this body, I would have had other choices. And so I do have, memories of you as that fractal, right? I don't have memories as very many memories as Leslie. People will say to me all the time, just, do you remember this? And I'm like, no. The we go through the stages of it. So the first thing is going through an activation, and the activation began in January of 2023. And that is when Leslie made the decision that she was going to exit, and I made the decision that I was going to integrate or walk in. And so we did a series of back and forth, back and forth. I had to heal her vessel considerably before I could actually fully integrate because as I sent you photos, she was very, very ill. She had multiple autoimmune diseases. She had had bone marrow cancer twice. She was about 150 pounds larger than I was. And for me to do my directive to fulfill it, I need to be mobile. And she was not mobile. So a lot had to be done before I could fully integrate. And it took from January of 2023 to April 19th of 2005. So it took just about 2 years of back and forth, but the most of the integration began after October of 2024. So it all really happened quickly.
So in January of 2023,
Mhm.
it's so, do you talk to people about this? Do people have a hard time wrapping their heads around it? I mean, I like to consider myself very open. I know some other walk-ins. It's a little challenging for me. Has it been challenging in your world of people and interactions to have people understand this? Because it's a little out there, dear.
Well, I mean, I've told the people the closest to me, and they do understand because they will say you are a completely different person. They can see the change. And so if anyone looks back at the old photos or the old videos, the way I spoke, even my directive, if you would have told, that fractal of me as Leslie that I would be doing frequency-based tech to aid in the ascension and activation of the planet, I would have told you were nuts because that never would have been anything that, she would have been interested in doing. And so she was a good light worker and a good healer, but far too much of an empath and far too much of a martyr. And so whenever, she was done and she was, she, and I do like to distinguish us, even though we did share, I was a fractal within her. So we did share. And so I have no trouble saying I to the memories I can remember, when we were together. Um, but, she had so much trauma. She had unending trauma and it just broke her to the point she did not want to stay anymore. And so I think that her ability to transcend to spirit and heal and to give me the ability to walk in and accomplish my directive is healing. It's good. It's balance. It's what Earth needs. It's what she needed. It's what I needed. It's everything.
January of 2024.
2023.
No, I know, but January of
Okay.
2024,
Mhm.
I believe that was the last time I saw you in person
Yes.
at the EE System Center in Calabasas, California. You were well into your integration at that point, would we say?
Yes.
Okay. Um, wow. So I've been wanting to
Let
have
me
you
ask
on.
you, when you
Go
look
ahead.
at me and you talk to me, do I remind you of the person you met in Norman, Oklahoma many years ago?
In the grander sense, no. In like the way my mind wants to work,
Right.
yes.
Yes.
And that's the challenge. I'm just having a little bit of a challenge here. And no, I it's on one hand, it's very easy for me to hear this story and say, absolutely. You and I, we're going to overlay when I edit I don't edit the video, but I'm going to go in and put the side by side pictures of you.
Yeah.
There's there's no question that
There's no
that
question.
yeah. I mean, and so it's it's interesting. It's like I have this whole. You've sent me so much. I asked you to send me everything, and this is about just the quantum wellness and you're like you would think that your entire life had been dedicated to this based on all this research and everything. But what I'm to understand is this all really just happened since April.
Since I would go back up probably a month since March.
I,
I was feeling it a little bit, but I wasn't doing any testing since April. No. I was feeling it since March. But I will say one cool thing though is if you go back and you look at pictures of me as Leslie, I always had really straight hair or just wavy hair. And I knew when I integrated, I wanted naturally curly hair and I got it. And the whole thing took about 6 months. So if I could show you like just a picture of 6 months here and 6 months here, you would see over 120-pound weight loss, curly hair, features changed, body changed, mobility changed, everything changed in less than 6 months. That's not what we consider to be humanly possible. That's not humanly possible, right?
right. No, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable from a 3D human standpoint.
January of
And yet,
2023,
go
I
ahead.
was January 2023 when I started integrating, I was bedbound from long COVID and then bone marrow cancer and going in anaphylaxis every single day. And I have those medical records up until about May of 2023. So, yeah.
I I have to say before we continue this, and I want to get into all the science and everything because I find that fascinating. I find this whole experience with you fascinating.
It's all
I
good.
It is all good, and I'm grateful for our continued connection from the beginning. And then I even visited you in Oklahoma, and I mean, to California at 24 to this moment right now, and it just, yeah, I don't know, it's all very mind blowing to me. But you're obviously here with a huge mission, and to I I feel like our continued connection um, means that somehow I fit in more than just this podcast. That I'm just touched by all of it, and I was touched by you when you weren't you, or when you were just a fractal living in Leslie.
It's fun, right?
Um, it's and I just have a lot of gratitude right now. I think it brings me to an emotional place. That people that follow the podcast know that it's not unusual for me to be moved into an emotional place, but I'm feeling all of this, and so it's
You're part of it, just so you know. Like the reason we had really lost connection for a while, and then as soon as after I began integrating and moved to LA, we sought each other out again,
yeah,
right? Because it
yeah.
was always that part of us that was meant to work together and build this. It's all hands on deck, Gaia ground crew activated. It's time to go. And so those that are awaiting activation are activating, those that are awaiting integration are integrating, those that are awaiting anointing are anointing. And those that have to do the walk-in are doing the walk-in because it is time and it's happening. And so I can't imagine any other way to say this, but you're absolutely part of this. And everyone that you feel like on that spider web, right? Shimmering the web, it's going to bring everyone together now. The song has been, the song's been sung. The call's been sent out. It's now. So thank
It,
you.
um, I get how things work. I continue each day to ask to be shown and to be present enough to understand my role so I can do what I'm to do here. And I was not raised to be who I am today. This was far from the path, and I, I, it's been a fascinating journey. Um, and so it's, when we start just looking at the human experience and fractals of humans giving birth to fractals and everything else, I don't think we can say, oh no, this isn't possible. This isn't real. I think, and I passed that sort of mindset a long time ago. I don't have a lot of friends from my past, people that I grew up with and whatnot tend not to understand me at all. And I'm also at a place in life where I don't really care. Nothing's going to stop me from being who I came here to be. And so I'm embracing this time with you and my friendship with you and wherever it goes. So now
Okay.
let's talk about quantum healing tools.
Yeah, let's do. I'll say one more thing though. The good news is I don't feel the need to convince anybody this is real. I mean, if someone's not open, good for you. You get to live in whatever matrix of your choosing. I'm only
Right.
here to speak to the people that are ready to be part of the change. And if that's not you, I don't have a problem with it at all. And I don't mean you, but I mean someone else.
Yeah.
It's just like convincing someone that you're real. Can you convince
Right.
someone you're real? No, because the only filter they have is theirs. And so it's a liberating process to not need the approval of anyone. It's a liberating process to know who you are, to know thyself, to know your directive, to know your mission, and to be so focused on it that only those that are in alignment can be part of it.
Yeah, it's a
So,
beautiful thing. And that's like one of the greatest freedoms. It's what I've been focusing a lot on
yes.
sharing recently. And so no mistake that you and I are here right now.
It was so weird
Uh,
the way it happened, but okay, let's talk about quantum healing.
yeah, I mean, you sent me, I said, I maybe shouldn't have said this, but I definitely should have said it. I said, you sent me some white papers. So these are the, official clinical studies.
Clinical summaries and clinical studies, they are not to the point where we could have them published yet as, scientific data, but it is a white paper, and I'm in the process of doing that for the actual scientific data publications. It just takes a lot longer, and I sent you what I have so far.
And it's like a stack of paper. I printed, I'm like my poor little printer. Anyway, um so how did this come about? Did you know that you were headed in this direction? Like as Inanna, it was like, okay, I know my directive is quantum healing, and now, all the pieces are going to come together, or are you just kind of like me and you're just out there and it's like, wow, this is in front of me. There must be a reason for this. I better pay attention to it. How did it all unfold for you?
Well, I mean, obviously I knew, but also I didn't know because I was still trying, again, the jolt, because a final integration took place April 19th. But prior to that, there was a lot of what I describe as a tandem bicycle, right? Meaning I was the one at the front of the bicycle, but I still had, the other person on the back. And then sometimes most of the time I would steer at this point, but sometimes she would steer. And then we would try to figure out where we were going to go. And my joke is I fell back asswards into it. I still can't tell you. I don't know how it happened. It just happened. One day, we were a friend who he will be on his show later, and I'd love to have him come back to talk about this. We attend a meditation group together, and we were sitting at lunch afterwards, and we were discussing. You've never met two people that can geek out for 12 hours at a time, never have a quiet moment between them, and be all in quantum physics and scalar waves and Rife waves and Tesla frequencies. And this is the matrix and that of the matrix, and this is the hologram, and this is how you recode this or you recode that. I mean, that is us, like literally 10 to 12 hours at a time, never having a dull moment, challenging each other, pushing each other, and then, arguing with each other and coming back to the truth. And so the first thing I remember was scalar waves. We were talking about scalar waves. And I was, oh, I know stuff about scalar waves, even though I didn't know anything about scalar waves. I just felt this inner knowing. So bought a scalar machine and then bought a Rife machine. And I was like, oh, okay, I like this. And then did some stuff with quantum energy and then started doing what are called codes. And those are things that I see in my head and I write them down and think of it like almost like if I, you're familiar with Dr. Emoto's water studies, right? That if I put the word peace and I put a droplet of water on it and I freeze it, the water droplet is going to hold the frequency and show me a picture of the word peace. Okay, so these codes are similar to that, but they're codes we now know, we didn't know what they were from in the beginning, that span almost every belief and coding system that has been introduced to Gaia. And so I pull from a lot of different ones, even though I didn't know it at the time, and they create a frequency. That frequency then, just like the word peace to water, does something. It does something in the body. And so you can use that code to create the frequency, which frequency is information. Then you put that information into that person's field and it changes the pattern in the field. Then it facilitates first the energetic, and if they're in agreement, the physical healing. Can go all the way through the cells into the DNA, and it can start to restore DNA, upregulate your genes. And so we learned that we could do this with coding. Then we learned we could do this with other forms of frequency as well. So it became one fun game. What could we do? What could we do? So we started experimenting with it. And the first sticker was for pain. We're like, well, what can we do with pain? So we started exploring what frequencies can actually, regulate pain. Or we could say, downregulate the genes that express pain, or what frequencies can reduce inflammation in the body that cause pain. What frequencies can upregulate, right? Maybe serotonin to help your body not feel pain. So by asking these questions, what can we do? It was a game, it was fun. And so we approached it from a lot of different modalities, and it was just fun. And then we realized our fun was actually information that we were receiving through downloads or through activations or through channeling. So, because I do a lot of channeling now. I'm a galactic channel. That's what I do a lot of now. And so the channeling information, I do remember it, but I'm like at the back of the audience, kind of watching it come through me. So I'm hearing it for the first time as everyone else is hearing it. So we'll make notes and then go back and look at the data and so forth. So by asking ourselves the question, what can frequency do? Frequency is information. That's all frequencies. It's information. So what can information do? And where do we put the information? Are we going to try to access someone's like operating system in their brain? Because we can do that through meditation. We can do that through visualization. We can do that through psychic, energy healing and psychic surgery and energy healing. But what if we just introduced information in a way that we kept it just there, right? And we thought, what if we put it on a sticker? Okay. What if we put it on a bracelet, on a copper bracelet? Okay. What if we put it in a crystal? Okay. So all these were just questions we asked ourselves for fun. And then we discovered that this was really effective and it worked really well.
So let's go back to the paint stickers.
Okay.
How are you embedding the frequency or I mean, I don't expect you to tell me exactly, but how
I don't think I can. I think my partner would kill me. That's proprietary information. You can never tell that.
So all right, how much can you tell us about it? Because people are going to see a sticker. I mean, I'm the proof is in the pudding guy. So I'm like, oh, cool, a sticker. Let me put it on, do whatever they tell me to do with it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Proof is in the pudding. I don't need to know how it works.
I'm happy to send it to you, but I also sent you the study.
Right.
That shows what it does. So you don't even have to take my word for it. You can look at the study. Because that's a study using the BioWell, which measures it is the gas discharge visualization, the GDV, and it actually measures the photonic emissions from the body. And we use different modalities. We test people. We use the Sputnik to test it in a Faraday cage. Then we use a water sensor. We can also test people using a glove. Have them test. So we can actually measure someone's body. We can measure the sticker in a Faraday cage, and we can measure the sticker to water. So we can show you what's happening in the field with it.
I love this because I have a BioWell device. I don't have the glove. I have the Sputnik. I have all of it because I really thought, like, when I first got it, and I thought, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have people come early. They always come early for our sound healing events. We'll take them through the BioWell process. We'll do the event, and then we'll take them back through the process. And it became too cumbersome. Yes. It didn't work for us to be able to do it. I've got it right outside my door of my office right now, and it's amazing technology. And so back to the pain sticker.
Okay.
Someone's going to get this pain relief sticker because, by the way, what tell us it's infused with MMITQF.
That's Meet Me in the Quantum Foundation. That's my nonprofit.
Okay. All right.
That's
Perfect.
that's so the everything we do is under our nonprofit. Okay. We're not trying to make money off this. In fact, neither one of us have been paid. We are a 501(c). We have a directive and a mission, and we are trying to get the tech to as many people as we can. We are, we don't have funding, we don't have grants, it's just us. And so that's the most important thing too, is this is a 501(c), and it is about the directive and the mission. It's not about, we could have just as easily done this under an LLC and tried to sell this technology, and we didn't.
So someone comes to you, or they find you, or they're listening to this podcast, and they're like, "Oh, I've got so much pain that I'm dealing with." And what do they do with this sticker? Do they put it where? How do they work with it?
I have all the studies open. Let me get to the sticker real quick because I still have everything open I sent you, which is a lot.
A lot is right.
Again, I'm the one who got certified to do the testing, and I'm still in further taking additional classes. I'm really invested in the science part of this. Again, placebo effect, right? Nocebo effect. And we always know knowledge is a precursor to experience. So I just don't want someone to say, I used this and I felt better. I want to be able to show a difference in their body. I want their anecdotal story, right? I want them to be able to say, I did this and I feel better. But I also want to prove that it made a difference in their physical body, because that's what's important to me. Okay, I'm almost to hold on. Sorry. Again, there's like 400 studies I've done. So
Oh no, you sent me so much stuff, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, but I don't even know what I'm going to say when I get it.
You said send it, and I'm like, okay, I'll send it.
Oh no, I said send it all. I'm like, whoops. Careful what you ask for, Dr. Dream.
I know, right? So let me grab okay, I'm on the clinical handout, so we can go there if you want. Okay. So what I will say too is and because we are a startup and we're a nonprofit and we're small, the stickers that we have are not like the best medical grade, right? They're hologram stickers because that's what we can afford with what we have at this time. However, the sticker only needs to be within like a 1/4 inch of your body. This means that if you don't want to put the sticker on your skin, you can put it on the inside of your shirt and you'll still have the same effect. Okay. So why? It's because the metal inside the sticker allows it to hold the charge or the frequency in the same way that you can, well, if you look behind me, you see like the copper water bottle, right? Ayurvedic medicine for how many hundreds of years has used copper water bottle because I know copper has healing properties. Well, we've taken that same principle, or the same principle you get in fact, when we went to the event with you, in Calabasas, we bought Scott a tiger's eye crystal that was charged with E. Same thing, exactly the same thing. So we use a hologram sticker, right? And that we use our proprietary method of charging. And then through that, you can put it on I wear them on my body all the time. But if it bothers someone because it's not, a transdermal medical grade sticker, that's fine. It can just go on the inside of your shirt. Now, you can follow your intuition where to put it. So if it's my leg that's hurting, I'm going to put it on my leg. If it's one of the applications for the pain sticker was actually Scott, who was having really bad migraines that nothing was working. And so my partner, Luis, came up with these stickers that were specifically for pain for migraine. And because his hit to the head was right here, and it was, that's where the worst pain was, he slapped the sticker right there. And within 15 minutes, the severe migraine from a severe traumatic brain injury was gone.
Yeah. How long does the charge last?
So each sticker should last a minimum of 7 days. A minimum of 7 days. And they could last longer. Those contacts that you buy at the optometrist that they're like, well, you can wear the contacts for a week or 2 weeks, just how long your comfort. Okay, it's the same kind of thing. The charge is there, the sticker. And so when we did the testing on the sticker, and that's what I pulled up right now, just looking at it, what I wanted to know was what's happening. So I've actually tested other people. We've signed non-disclosures with other companies that produce similar products, and we've done testing on theirs and testing on ours. They asked us to. And the one thing I found consistently with other people's products, and I tell them this, by the way, I'll actually like help them to know this is how you need to fix your formula. Because it's again, this is not about, making money. This is about activating people for the transition. And so I'll say the problem is that your energy field is unstable. Your energy field's unstable. And so what that means is whenever it can't hold itself. And so you're taking somebody with chronic pain, and yes, you may have enough pain frequency in there, but because you don't have this and this and this and this and this, you're going to pop anxiety in your patient or your client. Let me use the right word here, client. And they're going to pop anxiety because your field is putting too much in there and it's unstable. And if it's unstable, what happens if the energy field around us becomes unstable? It doesn't feel safe. And if someone has anxiety, and a lot of people with chronic pain have anxiety, what's going to happen? They're going to feel anxious. The second they feel anxious, their pain is going to feel worse and not better. And so that's what I kept finding over and over again. So if you look at the study that I sent you on signal stability, it says that there was no significant change in intensity levels, indicating stable energy output in the absence of overstimulation. This means that individualized response with no systemic instability. This means our formula does not make the system unstable. That's why I think it's amazing, but also that's why it works. So the other people we helped, I'm like, listen, you got to make it more stable, because what they were doing is they were trying to throw too much at it, make it comprehensive pain, not considering what's happening to the field with stability, and it was just causing too much instability in the field. And so the other thing we focus on for pain is inflammation, because most pain originates from inflammation in the body. And I just don't know a lot of people understand that. And I will say that is helpful for me with the avatar for walking in, was I do, because I had to do so much healing on this body. I have a very good understanding of what it takes to heal, because I had to do so much. And if you're not going to address inflammation, and if you're not going to address, like the DNA and RNA and regulating and upregulating those genetic expressions, it's just not going to work in the same way. So that's what we did here. And so if you look at our study, it says that we indicate the reduction in inflammation, swelling, and energetic dispersion by decreasing those energetic values. It also says that this statistically significant drop in energy was observed, suggesting relaxation, which again, we're not causing anxiety. We want people's systems to calm, right? And if you throw too much at that, again, you're going to make anxiety in someone with chronic pain, and that's only going to make them feel their pain more. And so, and the best part was it showed the system coherence, which is our ultimate goal, right? Because coherence is when the body can heal. Coherence is when the body can feel peaceful. When we can get head-heart coherence, then we can create, we can manifest, we can align, we can heal. And that was, of course, the best result I could have asked for on there, was in the trend at the end of treatment showed moving towards system coherence or energetic reorganization, which is what we wanted.
Are people wearing or using more than one pain patch at a time?
Recommend two.
Recommend two. Okay.
Why? Because let me grab something behind me real quick. Oh, look. So this is one of our copper bracelets. Somebody uses a demonstration. And I don't remember specifically what this one is charged to. Hold on. It's 3,333. So it's 3,333 on the Hawkins scale. That's what this one is charged to. The reason why we recommend two is this is also a vortex field, this copper bracelet. And that means because you have it charged in a specific way and you have opposing sides, right? That's what makes it that's why this bracelet can do. And I did send you some information on this.
Absolutely.
Too. Now, why two stickers? We want to create the same effect in your body. We want to create a vortex, a quantum vortex in your body. And so it doesn't matter where your stickers are. They don't have to be, because of the field, right? They can be sitting, right next to each other here, and you're still creating a vortex between here. If I had we created one for an upset stomach for me, and I put them right here, just like, right top of my stomach, not opposite each other, not front and back, just right here because of the field of the sticker. is enough that, anything in between is creating a vortex. And so that vortex energy can also facilitate healing, but it does some other cool things too. It can help with coherence. It can help with manifesting. It can help with aligning. It can help with activation. Quantum energy is amazing. It's everything that we are, right? But all we're doing is we're helping it become more coherent. We're helping it become, we're giving it better instructions, if you will.
Okay. Now, are there other stickers available? I take it the pain stick, like right now at the end of this podcast, someone can go somewhere and buy some pain stickers online and get them sent. Where are you at with that?
They could send us an email. So the website is about 2 weeks from being launched, meetmeinthequantum.org. And it has just been, we got so distracted with our creations, we abandoned the website for a while. So it should be done within the next 2 weeks. That the old website is up, and a lot of our products are on Gaia practitioners. A lot of them are there, and I have them listed on social media, but we'll have it up within 2 weeks. So, but you could email info@meetmeinthequantum.org and order that way as well. The stickers we have, I can show you. And we have some more that are coming, but this is what the pain one looks like. And then this is the we have a formula for emotional wellness. I make my teenagers wear these. They have to wear these. It's just necessary. This one is stomach. And we created this one because back like in March and April, whenever I was really going through it, the thick of it, right? I was holding so much of that in my stomach, and that's when we created these. To help me. This is Sweet Dreams. So this one helps with sleep. Circulation. So this it will support circulation, cardiovascular, so forth. And then allergy, cold, and flu, which are these last ones. And so each one has all of them have certain frequencies in them. So they all have the EMF protection and detox, the Schumann resonance, the solfeggio frequencies, the PEMF frequencies, the Tesla frequency, RNA and DNA rebalancing frequencies, but then they all have the proprietary ones for that purpose. And so
now those packets, how many are in a packet?
20.
20. Okay.
There's 20 stickers, and
you have 5 or 6 different ones. Did I count?
There's 7.
7. Okay.
There's 7 right now.
And are they all priced the same?
They are, again, right now they're sitting at $99. And then we're looking at, again, we want a better quality sticker, but right now we're just trying to fundraise for the nonprofit, and then we'll be able to do that. But the stickers will last you. I don't want to get myself in trouble with my partner. The stickers will last you a really, really, really long time. You just have to we use kinesiology tape. We have stickers we use for months. We just use kinesiology tape.
Now, are people, so I put on Sweet Dreams at night, and then I get up in the morning and take it off and put on whatever I need that day?
Yes, take it off in the morning. Take it off in the morning. Little fun fact, I do think that this is part of like why why this vessel was a good candidate for the walk-in, though, is because technically I have what is called narcolepsy, and people don't understand narcolepsy, because if they did, they would understand it's actually like a pathway to super consciousness, because someone with narcolepsy, their brain is in theta 10 times more than the average person would be. This is why I can channel, because you channel in theta. And I did send you one of my channeling results on it.
Yes.
That was from wearing the glove on one of the channeling. And so my brain is very wired differently than most people's brains. And on and out, I might get 2 to 3 hours of sleep a day, and that's it. Sometimes an hour, 10 minutes. It just kind of depends.
That's still part of your energetic.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I do believe it was the blueprint that allowed me to come in. Right. Okay. Because being a walk-in can be rather difficult, but being a walk-in and having to have this directive and move so quickly would require an incredibly strong channel. right? We channel usually in theta. That's what we're trying to access because that's when your body's asleep and your mind is awake. Someone with the energetic blueprint for narcolepsy can be in theta and be up walking around doing things, can access that channel. They spend 10 times the amount of time in theta. And so I do believe that's part of the big picture for me is being what they deem narcolepsy, which I don't view it that way at all, by the way. I just think it's a pathway to super consciousness because I can be in altered brain waves and channeling and still doing whatever I need to be doing and functioning on, on average 3 hours of sleep a night or less and being okay. And so being better than okay, but also receiving this information, which I want to tell you the med bed story, but receiving the information in a lightning bolt way, in a jolt way, and understanding it and knowing what to do with it. I do think the brain waves are what allowed me to do that. So Sweet Dreams was another one that I use whenever I'm like, well, I look at my like maybe my Aura ring or whatever, and it's, oh, you've had like 5 hours sleep in 8 days. So we need to probably get some sleep tonight. So I'll put on a couple of Sweet Dream stickers and go to bed.
Now, the narcolepsy used to be a real pain, so to speak, for you.
For Leslie, it was.
All right, there you go. There you go. Thank you for the
For me,
clarity.
it's awesome. I love it. I can do so much stuff and I can receive what I want. I just don't think she knew how to access it right.
So you mentioned the med bed.
Yes.
Take
Coolest
us
story I
there.
have, I think, is the med bed. Okay, so my partner who you'll have on here later, his name is Luis. He's a partner in the nonprofit. And he was at my house and we were meditating. So our whole family pretty much meditates together. So we were all in the living room meditating separately. I don't mean like we were playing it on a loudspeaker. Everyone had their headphones in because that's how you do these meditations. And everyone was meditating. Although the nonprofit is just he and I, like Scott or my children aren't really participating in it. We're sitting there, the meditation ends, and I knew immediately what to do to build the med bed. He knew immediately what to do to program the med bed. We did not speak to each other. I got up, ran to the car, took off to the store, bought the things I needed. He went to the tech room where all of our tech is, where he does all of this and made what he needed to make. And we came back and assembled it. We each got pieces in that meditation separately, did not discuss, and then assembled this thing together.
Wow. So
Yeah.
tell us, because there's all this talk about med beds and this, that, and the other, and what they can do, and when they're going to be released to the public, and all this. What's your quantum med bed about?
So, I know that a lot of humanity is waiting on a savior moment, right? You see the postings on social media that the Pleiadians are going to release the med beds, or the Arcturians are going to release this, or our government's going to release this. It's already been released. Just find the people with the downloads. It's not going to be released systemically, at least not anytime soon, because there's still too many controls within the hologram and the matrix. But we all know this, right? The observer effect. So if you just keep observing that you have found this technology, you will find this technology. So ours is over, I believe, and this would be better for part of this is Louisa's specialty and part of this is mine. But I do believe the med bed is at 11,000 on the Hawkins scale, which is that power versus force scale, which is extremely high.
Which Hawkins stopped the scale at 1,000.
Correct.
Okay.
It's been increased.
Thank goodness.
It's been increased. And so that's part of the tech, right? Part of the tech is continuing that. But his baseline is where we start with tremendous respect for his work. And yeah, but it just continues with that. So the other frequencies put in there also include some of the codes I was talking about earlier that are channeled directly from the High Council, and those codes are put into the parts of the med bed that can hold the frequency as well. We use many different components. I can tell you some are metallic, some are crystal. We also use different frequencies that facilitate the body to receive. So what we discovered with the first version was that while it could do its job, human vessels could not receive the fullness of it because they were so unfamiliar with it. It would feel weird or unusual, right? So then we were given frequencies to allow humans to feel safe enough to receive these frequencies, much like I'm sure when people do, the EE system, or someone does, the singing bowls, like you have to be open to receiving this in order to receive this. So we created the med bed, and we were very anxious to try it on people. We wanted to see what it could do. We knew we could have experiences in it, mind-blowing experiences in it, but also, we know what to do. We're going to get in there and we're going to relax and we're going to let it happen. And so we started testing people. And the funniest one, though, was a woman who was in it, and she had a really powerful somatic release. And at that point, it was secure, but it wasn't as secure. The whole thing blew apart. The whole thing.
Surprise!
And so I was like, okay, well, now we need better, because I was just, again, it's made by us. It's the technology that's important, not how it's made. It's just a prototype we made, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, we have to secure this much better. So I ordered really expensive furniture fasteners to prevent that from happening again. And so we have people who we will have come over and who agree to have a session and be tested before and after, but also agree to like wear the glove, or maybe we'll use the Sputnik on it, because that tests not just them, but the room. Is it changing the room? Are they changing the room through the experience? And so we have some really cool testing on the med bed. I will say it's exceeded what I thought was possible.
Can you share some examples of what people have experienced?
Yep. Let me find this
Are we
one.
regrowing limbs or fingertips or anything like that yet? But
Well, so when I went to the dentist, before, they told me I had 27 cavities and I have one now. So we're regrowing teeth.
nice. That's a nice thing.
Yeah. So, can it you know what? I think I live in the world where anything is possible.
I love that
I
world.
live in a world where I believe that anything is possible, that you can, if you can enter that operating system inside you, right? You can give your body a new directive. And that's all this frequency tech is about. It's assisting you, helping you hold, the information, the frequency to do what you want to do with your body. That's all it is. We're just giving you an assistive device, a charge bracelet, a sticker, a copper water bottle that is charged with frequencies that support you and your ability to get in there and create whatever you want within your body by giving you those frequencies. Yeah. So this was one of the coolest ones was this one. And we did a clinical, this one we actually did the clinical report and the summary and everything. And what was so amazing in this one is that we were focusing on a trauma release in this session. So this person had PTSD, and they were really wanting to facilitate a significant trauma release and not be locked in a complex PTSD cycle anymore. They were just wanting to be free from it. So okay, so we got them in there and looked at it. The energy field initially, and the report shows this too, it indicates a temporary contraction of the field, likely due to systemic processing or internalization. And so that meant that whenever the field contracts in, it's like everything just, like this, right? It gets smaller. And then it says that statistically significant changes were observed at multiple levels, confirming the shifts, but the final increase suggests stabilization. So their field went completely in and it reordered itself, and then it went back out. And that's just from the area contraction. Within the signal strength, again, we did see sustained increase in signal strength now, which we wouldn't necessarily want in a pain sticker, but in this case, it's okay. You're in a med bed, you're doing it. So it says that this reflects cellular and intercellular communication happening, meaning we're doing we're in the cells. We're rewriting this, which is so exciting. And multiple points showed strong statistical significance. And it also showed internal regulatory mechanisms happening within cellular communication. So it's like, yeah, doing it. And then on the systemic output, what I really liked here again is we were stable. Minor reduction in output followed by return to baseline indicates the session was energetically stable and safe. No energetic overload or depletion. So important. If we're going to blow someone's system or if we're going to deplete their system, we're not going to facilitate healing. That's just all there is to it. So the variability was really good. They had a pretty big shift in variability, showed dynamic energy adaptation, showed intense moment of recalibration in the body, and then increased coherence. And then the last one, and then again, no overload. And then the last one was the deviation. The fluctuation showed dynamic energetic adaptation. The spikes suggest a moments of intense recalibration, increased coherence through it. The thing that shows extreme negative entropy, right in the middle, indicates systemic healing, cellular reorganization, trauma releasing, and healing resets. Final positive entropy suggests a return to balance and order after intense energetic processing. So the summary of these effects are a temporary energy field contraction due to deep systemic processing, integration and stabilization in the energy field. And these were statistically significant at multiple levels, showing that the medbed appeared to induce a trauma release response as evidenced by field contraction, intense entropy fluctuation, increased signal intensity, and post-session restabilization. These findings are consistent with deep energetic clearing and integration. The system showed resilience and capacity for reorganizing, suggesting therapeutic efficacy in emotional trauma recovery support.
So, what did that person say after this session and then since then?
Holy shit.
It's always a great response.
It was holy shit. Wow. That was that response. And then since then, they've been great. Yeah, since then, great. They've not needed another medbed session either.
So, PTSD, I mean, I get that it affects physical body, but that's more of an emotional body thing.
And it's also a brain injury thing. PTSD actually causes brain injury. It's been scientifically proven. Dr. Ahmed and some others have shown that PTSD can actually cause damage to the brain.
Okay. All right. Give us some other ones. Have there just anecdotal? You don't need to read
You don't need
it.
to read the studies?
But just someone come in with I mean, I know nothing is strictly physical, but someone's come in with something that's like a major physical thing that in their mind, in their experience, in their reality, it's been cleared up.
So, I mean, so many even physical things have an emotional component.
Yeah, no, and that's, of course,
Yeah.
I get that.
I'll tell you, we had one who was a sexual assault victim. And this was one that was incredibly intense. And the session itself got incredibly intense as all of that energy was reorganizing within this person. And we were, facilitating it. And it was, I will say there was yelling inside the med bed. There was yelling. And I wasn't afraid at all because it's above six-dimensional energy, and the beings that we connect to that facilitate these healings know what they're doing, right? I mean, it's not just a quantum med bed. I mean, we lay the foundation, and that allows other beings to come in and facilitate. So it's really very a group effort, a team effort. So I trusted everything that was happening, but the yelling was a lot. And then the yelling stopped and the peace came, and the client laid there for a really long time and then got up and was okay. And said they just it knew that they were being helped by other dimensional beings too, and said they just took it from me. They just took it. And I was like, good. That's kind of the idea. That's kind of the idea.
I love that.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the channeling. Is it just happen when you open up and do it? Or are you doing group sessions, and what's coming through in the channeling?
So I do group online. I did a private event in someone's home a couple weeks ago here in LA. And so, if you have a group of people you want to get together, that's definitely possible. I do channel differently. The narcolepsy helps. I don't have to go under, okay? Because I can live in theta without going under. Most people are asleep when they're in theta, right? Not me, I live there. So I will say though, I take a back seat, I can just hear everything. And I will hear things when I'm channeling and be like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, and then I'm like, I hope I remember that. What I heard come through me because that was actually brilliant. So there's that kind of channeling. And then there's also, what we just call like the messages where I hear it and I tell you, I hear it, I tell you. But the other type of channeling, theta brainwave channeling, is what I do most of. And that is, very easy, of course, because I am a walk-in and I am an interdimensional being. And so I don't have to work very hard to do that. And I get to live as that person. I don't get to channel as that being. I get to live as that being. And so, yes, that's available. I do private sessions. I'm still a medium. Someone wants to talk to a loved one, that's still possible. But most of what I do now is channeling and giving those messages, helping people correct the energetic patterns. Because what's happened is that through all the things we could talk about in the world, we could talk about toxic food supply, we can talk about trauma, we can talk about all the programs in the hologram and in the matrix that are meant to separate us from our divinity. And so we get programs installed or we get patterns installed in our energy field with bad information. And that bad information then leads us to believe we have limited lives, lead us to believe that, a disease is forever and incurable, lead us to believe that, that we should make sacrifices or the only value is in martyrdom or whatever that program is. And so through channeling and through frequency, we can give good information, which frequency is information. We can give good information and we can have that information go into your energy field and into your consciousness. And if you're willing to remain the observer of that information and you're willing to, like keep your eye on the ball, right? If you say, right, keep your eye on it, you will rewrite your energy field. You will give yourself a new body. You will give yourself a new life. You will give yourself new experiences, new relationship, new prosperity. But it takes changing that energetic field, those patterns in the field from what you've been given by sometimes by people you love and by sometimes by people who want to control you, by sometimes people think their fear keeps you safe. When in fact, it does none of that. All it does is keep you limited. And so we can facilitate that.
Are the stickers doing that also for people?
Yes. Especially the emotional support stickers, because that is what they're created for. When we look at people who are stuck in life and they're not having whatever it is that they desire, right? Maybe that's a relationship, a better job, healthier friendships, more time, more money, better health, whatever it is. Most of the time it's because their incoherent patterns in their energy field are stopping them from, getting outside of themselves, when all they can do is see what's wrong, see what's wrong, see what's wrong, see what's wrong. Well, observer effect tells us whatever I observe, I bring to me. So when I'm seeing what's wrong in my life, I'm bringing more of that thing to me. So the emotional support stickers can actually help with this because they're creating patterns through frequencies, information again, right? So they're creating information in your field that, wait a minute, I'm safe and all is well. And when you have that on you, you can then start to see evidence, be the observer of, I am safe and all is well. And that allows you to shift your consciousness, shift your perspective, or what I would call your point of attraction, right? That little antenna, ding, 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 that's going to bring different experiences in.
Okay. So here we are. It's 2025. For anyone firmly living in the 3D, which I feel for them, the place looks pretty effed up. Just it's getting caught up in the division, getting caught up in the politics, this, that, and the other. I see and talk to people that are just sure that the end is near, like they're stand on the street corner holding a sign saying the end is near, and all this. They're not even able to hear these messages, right? What and
No.
so is this part of the bifurcation that we've talked about for years, that like, part of humanity is going to go this way, and it's the over there, it's the new earth, the golden age, the whatever you want to call it, and the rest of humanity is going to stay stuck in the murk and the mire? Where Give me some insight on that, if you could.
We would like to address this as we. So we would like to address this as a channel message.
Okay.
And we would like you to know that we have never been more hopeful than we are right now for Gaia and for humanity. Because what many people cannot see is that the help has arrived. What many people cannot see, because again, they're not looking for it, is that you have the grid has been activated. Your ground crew has been activated. Your light workers are being activated. Your healers, your wise ones, your guardians, your tree whisperers, your water whisperers. All of those that have been weighing in late have been activated. And they are not going to step forward with a roar. Not yet, at least. They're going to step forward with small acts of change so that these acts of change go mostly unnoticed. Because when these small acts of change go unnoticed, but they are allowed to increase in number till they hit the tipping point, then there will be no opportunity to stop the evolution that is already underway on your planet. And we are very happy to say that not just Inanna, but you and many that listen to you are part of this activation and are answering the call. And as you answer the call, it is important for you to remember that this is a call for small steps. This is a call for small actions that will build into something greater and bigger and more powerful within the hologram that ends the hologram. And you will see more people waking up, and you will see more people seeing truth, and you will see more people hearing truth than at any other time. The challenge is to not observe, focus, or give any attention or power to those who choose not to hear the call, because they are part of the simulation. They are part of the hologram. If we were to put this in terms of the matrix, they are the agents. Effect. They have one singular job, and that is to stop people from waking up by spreading the news of the doom and the gloom and the end of days. But we would say that for every great beginning, there must be an ending. And so, yes, it is time for the controls of the hologram to end. It is time for the controllers to actually lose control. And they will do so because the call has gone out and it has been answered. And all of these small acts of healing, kindness, activation, integration, anointing, empowerment, and love are building and building and building like a tidal wave that will soon reach the tipping point, and everything will change. Listen to those who speak your language and no one else. Thank you.
Appreciate that more than I can express. I didn't know what to expect today. I didn't know what to expect in this. I'm glad that we didn't go all techie with this. I want to do that next. I want Luis on. I want to do that next. But that today wasn't that this wasn't that moment for that.
Guess not.
I am in deep appreciation of all that you're doing, of all that it took for you to get to this point. Yeah, there's so many other questions and so many other this, that, and the other, but I think this is a nice place for us to end this one, and I think we'll end up calling this part one. And when we get Luis in with us, we'll do a part two.
You should probably weird him out a lot. So just be.
Wait, what'd you say?
I weird him out a lot. I weird a lot of people out a lot. It's just part of my charm.
Hey, listen, you can handle it or you can't. And but I'm grateful that our paths crossed when they did, and I got to see your transformation, and that I got to be here right now to have this experience. I'm feeling tingly, and I'm definitely in my heart, and I can't wait to get some stickers and have that experience, and yeah. Inanna, thank you so much for being a guest on the It's All Good show, and so much honor, respect, love, and blessings to you, and protection as you follow through on your directive and your mission here for all of us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me. And we'll talk soon.
Absolutely.